Hello and welcome to the weather update. It's 10:30 on September 19th, 2023. A little later tonight because I did go for a hike in New Jersey and hoping the whole day was going to be clear, and it was clear until like afternoon. We had clear skies, and then started getting all these annoying clouds popping up, and we weren't really supposed to see any clouds at all today. None of the models were predicting this, but we had all these clouds popping up for no damn reason. You can see it kind of got kind of murky toward, I guess, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But other than that, let's look at the satellite here, and you'll see the clouds pop up, actually, when I make this a full satellite. Let's do a full 120 frame satellite loop. So you could see earlier on it was clear, but then this cloud field kind of came in and kind of messed things up a little bit for us today as far as, getting a clear sky. Well, I don't know why we had that. And then you can see we have another little area of clouds that may affect us tomorrow. It looks like maybe some high clouds. Wasn't supposed to see any of these clouds today, by the way, so I don't know what exactly happened, but it was supposed to be a clear day. But the whole day wasn't clear. It was clear in the morning. Well, depending on where you were, we already had some clouds in the morning, but down in New Jersey, it was clear till around 1 o'clock or so, and then it started clouding up. Probably just instability and residual moisture trapped underneath an inversion kind of deal again. Because this is what it looked like this morning, and then as we move this toward the afternoon, you can see what happened. Actually, Long Island had less of it. Of course, New Jersey had a little more of it, but just instability, I guess, kind of just messed things up. Would have been a clear day other than that, but it was cool, that's for sure. So let's go to the current conditions outside right now, and we'll go ahead and look at our observations for today. And you can see it's a cool night out there. Yeah, I've had the AC off, believe it or not, even here. And we're managing, though. I don't think it's 61 here. I think it's more like 67 in the alley, or 66. But 61 at Islip right now, dew point 52. So I'll show you. It's showing a southwest wind. That's kind of odd. That's weird. Why would they have a southwest wind? So anyway, looking at the day today, you see temperatures generally were only in the low to mid 70s generally, and you could see some clouds around at times. Again, throughout the day, breezy conditions too, so it felt cool. But yeah, I don't know why the winds went west south now southwest. It's kind of odd to see that over there at. Let's go see if Farmingdale did the same thing. Yeah, they're showing a west southwest wind as well. That's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting, to say the least. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at our highs for the day. The dew points were low in the 50s today. Let's see, highs generally mid-70s. So, yeah, mid-70s generally speaking. For the highs, though, out on the Forks, it was a little cooler. Let's go look at the lows. And lows generally, well, we're going to get colder than that tonight with the radiational cooling, but lows generally were 52 in Hampton Bays. Other than that, lows around the low 60s, and it looks like it did drop in New Jersey quite a bit there. So, yeah, wow, 50 degrees in the Pine Barrens there. So, yep, let's go ahead and look at our statistics for the day. Load this up here. Islip, 74. That's the average norm. That's the normal. So pretty much right on the nose. 74 for a high, 57 for a low. Maybe it's only 1 degree below normal. Pretty much normal conditions for today. Let's look at Central Park. Central Park, 72. It was actually cooler in Central Park than it was at Islip. So they were 3 degrees below normal today at Central Park. That's interesting how it was cooler in Central Park than it was at Islip. But sometimes that can happen because Central Park, there's a lot of vegetation around that weather station. If we go and we look at another station in LaGuardia, for instance, they got up to 76. So I think that has something to do with it. Between all the rain we had, kind of kept things a little cooler over there. I think that's what wound up happening anyway. So looking at our satellite view here, we take this out. You'll definitely want to take a look at this because that's Hurricane Nigel. Look at that. Another one with a big eye. Look how big that eye is. Let's see if we can put that measuring stick there. Actually, I can take the measuring stick here. Let's see. It says measure distance and area. So let's see if we can measure distance. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. I think I make it 2 points, I think. Damn, that's a big eye. All right, it's in kilometers, unfortunately. Whatever that is, that eye is probably like 30 miles wide at least. All right. I'm going to clear this out now. Can I clear that out, or? All right, there. So anyway, it's a big eye, that's for sure. Nigel's going to stay out in the ocean, but still, that is a big eye. We're going to talk about Nigel. You can see here, again, all those clouds that just popped up. We have nice clear air over here, and you can see there is some smoke. This is smoke from the wildfires in Canada still, but that's staying to the north, staying well to the north. In fact, it looks like it's making it over Greenland. Look at that. That's incredible. So the smoke's actually, yeah, you can see it right over there. That's not good at all. So, yeah, they're getting smoke in the high Arctic. That is messed up. That is really messed up. But other than that, not seeing any smoke here. It's just the clouds. And even a little, again, they had that moisture trapped underneath the inversion thing that sometimes happens when you don't have a dry enough push of air, I guess. But anyway, let's go look at some more observations here. And we will talk about Nigel in a moment. Let me just get the observations loaded because I kind of want to see if they're reporting smoke up in the high Arctic. We're going to go and just see that for a moment. Let's see. I'm going to get a station up here. There's got to be a station up here. Okay, let's see. 37. Light drizzle. 8-mile visibility, it's saying. Kind of hard to see there. 4 miles in mist. Is that really mist or is that smoke? Sometimes these stations, they can't actually pick that up. Not all of these are going to report it. This is 30 degrees. Yeah, they've got probably fog over there. So the smoke may be aloft, but it definitely is traveling all the way over to the Arctic, which is pretty crazy. But anyway, let's talk about Nigel next. So this is Hurricane Nigel. And you can see here's the forecast track. And again, it's just going to stay out over the ocean. No threat to us. But it could be a problem for Europe or maybe Iceland as some kind of tropical storm they're showing. Or maybe an extratropical or post-tropical storm with tropical characteristics. Nigel is turning northward at 11 p.m. Its location is 11 p.m. Atlantic time. Its location is 33.2 north, 54.7 west, about 540 miles east of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds are 100 miles an hour. It's moving north at 15 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 971 millibars, 29.68 inches. And they do expect additional strengthening through early Wednesday and then weakening Thursday and Friday. And then Nigel's expected to become a strong post-tropical cyclone by Friday. This is like the buzzword now. They want to use post-tropical for a storm that's like kind of transitioned more into an extratropical system, but it's still got tropical characteristics and it's still unusual. They kind of try to downplay it, I think, because that's what the government does. They want to downplay climate change. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 60 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles from the center. So let's go take a look at a few satellite images of Nigel, shall we? There's Nigel. Oh my God, that eye is huge. The storm isn't that big, but look at the eye in proportion to the storm. And again, we're seeing these storms with just big eyes. I mean, that eye is probably 30 to 40 miles wide. That is incredible. That is an incredibly large eye, and you can still see it's going through strengthening. We're seeing more and more of these storms develop big eyes, and this is all due to climate change. All right, this is not something I ever remember seeing. So let's go to Tropical Tidbits page on Nigel as well. So you get to see the infrared here, the enhanced infrared. Still plenty of convection. That is a big eye right there. I mean, that eye is huge. That's a big eye, but you'll be glad that it's not impacting any land yet. But like I said, it could impact Europe. And if we go ahead and we look at these models here, these are the spaghetti models. You can see it takes it toward Europe. This is, look here, could hit Iceland or the United Kingdom. That would be something if Nigel hits Iceland, right? But hey, anything's possible with climate change. Anything is possible. Looking at intensity guidance, It's going to stay a Cat 2. It might even become a Cat 3. Probably not, but if it does, it could. At least for the next day, it still could strengthen, and then it'll start weakening as it moves further north, but not as rapidly as you would expect, again, because, you're dealing with much warmer than normal sea surface temperatures, and if you go and you look at our Earth Null School map here, and show you again, do this animation here, you'll see all the very warm water that's in the Atlantic. This area here and this area have been cooled down by Lee. So Lee removed a lot of temperatures here from the water over here off New England, which is good news for us. Lee kind of, cool, because hurricanes, that's how warm oceans release their energy, is through tropical storms and hurricanes. All right? And if we look at the sea surface temperature anomaly in this area, it actually is substantially below normal. In fact, it is 8.2 degrees below normal. So we have sea surface temperatures that are 8.2 degrees below normal off New England, and that is about 62 degrees. So some cool water over here, and again, that's thanks to Lee releasing that heat. But if you go outside of the track of where Lee was, you'll still see very warm water over here in off the Canadian Maritimes here, and this is that's a 10-degree anomaly there. 10 degrees above normal. That's that bright yellow. That's incredibly warm, and that equates to 61 degrees Fahrenheit sea surface temperature. All right, so that is a very warm water. And you can see that warm water kind of stretches throughout most of the Atlantic here. All right, so that's why Nigel won't weaken as much, but you see the effects of what Lee does to the sea surface. These storms do. They do help. This might be Nigel over here. They help release heat from the oceans. And that's why we have warmer oceans. We're going to have more tropical storms and hurricanes, and they're going to be more severe. And they're going to be larger and more intense because you have more energy to fuel them. So, let's get back to the models here, and we'll talk about... Now, if we go look at the weather map here, you'll see high pressure is over us. We're going to stay fair through Friday, and then the weekend could really suck big time. So let's go look at the GFS here, and we'll start with that. So high pressure stays over us tomorrow, as well as Thursday. But here comes that storm system taking shape. Could be some people saying tropical system or nor'easter. It looks to me like a tropical system. The water temperatures. Oh, now I got to go back to that. Let me go back to that sea surface temperature chart here. So I'll show you the sea surface temperatures over here. The actual sea surface temperatures off the Carolinas. We're still got 84-degree water here in this spot. So still 84, mid-80s. That's plenty warm enough for a tropical system to develop here. All right. So this is your tropical system here Friday. So staying dry, high pressures in control, but you'll see what happens. It starts making its way up the coast, and then the rain spreads into the area Saturday. Rainy and windy, and heavy rain too from this. And it's gonna linger into, well, it looks like it's gonna linger through Saturday's just gonna be a complete washout if this is correct, and then we're gonna have more rain on Sunday. So you may have 2 days in a row that are completely washouts, which is very bad for the weekend to have those 2 days lined up. And then as we enter next week, you see a high pressure tries to nose down from the east. So this is the GFS, obviously the GFS solution into this. All right, let's go look at the European. And we'll go to the 12Z. Actually, maybe the 18Z European will cover this. So this is the European model, and you can see an agreement here. All right, so if I go to the 12Z, you'll see that they tend to agree on what's going to happen, though. Well, actually, not quite. So European has a little piece breaking off, and so Saturday we just get a little light rain. We get brushed, and then the second system. The system this is the system right here, and then it kind of moves back out over the ocean again. All right, so there is a difference because the European is stronger with the high, and that's the thing. The European is stronger with the high. If we look at the upper air, well, the European here, See the upper air here, and you can see the upper air. European is stronger with that ridging. You can see there's the trough in the southeast there, right? It kind of pushes it down. Whereas if we look at the GFS is not as strong with the ridging, and it has it coming riding right up. All right. If we look at the jet stream here, this is the jet stream. You can see the jet stream GFS has a really strange looking trough there. Again, very abnormal to see this trough kind of, I think you call that almost a negative tilt. But if you look at the European, it's similar, but oh, wait a minute, that's the 18Z run. It's similar, but it's got a stronger ridge up there. So it's very hard to predict what's going to happen with this system. It's very, very hard to predict what's going to happen. But if we go to the eastern U.S. view, which is what I'll do, and I'll go in ahead and I'll show you the rainfall, total rainfall from this, it's going to be quite a soaker. So you can see here, we could deal with 2 to 3 inches of rain, maybe even more. And this is going to go into New England, too, which is the last thing they need at this point. So that's the GFS. But if we look at the European model, and we'll go to the 12Z, you see the European keeps the heavier rain offshore. So I'm still rooting for that European to be right, because I don't want to have to deal with a rainy weekend, all right? It's the last thing we need. If this happens, if this GFS solution prevails, I think this will probably wind up being the wettest September on record. Why not break a few more records while we're at it, right? Because we're just breaking records left and right this year. So let's look at the icon model as well. So here's the icon model. The icon model looks like the GFS at this point. Kind of slugs us with rain Saturday, and then another round of rain on Sunday. So yeah, this is going to be a real crappy, sucky, miserable weekend if this verifies. All right. So let's go to the and also the other thing that we'd have to watch out for is the wind. All right. So it's going to be some kind of hybrid type system, but it's going to be windy. All right. Well, the other thing actually we got to watch out for are the waves. So shall we go to that? Let me go to the GFS. Point that out here, what this is going to do here to the significant wave height. This is going to cause a lot of coastal flooding. You can see that. This would be Saturday that we'd have a lot of coastal flooding. And you have that rain falling too on top of it. All right. If we look at the European, there's a more suppressed track. We do have some of the coastal flooding issues, but not as bad as the GFS. But, we still have time to, worry about that storm. Let's go and talk more about the short range, because the good news is no rain tomorrow, no rain Thursday, no rain Friday. All right. Looking at the dew points here, this is the HRRR, and you can see northwest winds. We continue to see low dew points tomorrow. Not super low, but there's a little bit of moisture popping up there. In the after, interesting. I don't know where that moisture is coming from, but you see a little bit of moisture popping up, even though we have a west wind, which I'm kind of stumped on. But maybe that's due to a sea breeze trying to develop there tomorrow. But then we have north winds take back over on Thursday, and that's going to bring in lower dew points again. So dew points and temperatures drop on Thursday a little bit. It'll almost be like another cold front coming through. Here are your temperatures. Tonight we're going to drop into the mid 50s. And with radiational cooling, some sites could get into the upper 40s, especially in the Pine Barrens. Tomorrow, similar temperatures to today, I think we'll see mid 70s again. And then I think this is underdoing it a little bit. I think we'll see mid 70s with that west wind. And then tomorrow night might even be colder. We may have only low 50s. And then for Thursday, we're going to struggle to reach 70 despite the sun being out. It's going to be very cool with that north wind. Thursday is going to actually be very nice. So let's go to the GFS, and we'll go a little bit past this, show you the dew points and wind flow. So here we go into Friday. You can see the winds become easterly, and then we see that moisture work its way into the system here and into that thing. You can see dry air is trying to fight against it, though, and kind of push it to the south. So it's very hard to see what's going to happen, and it's just out of the short-range models, and we just don't know. But just be aware of the possibility of a really crappy soaker of a weekend does exist, and at the least soaker and at the at the worst, a minimal impossible tropical storm or nor'easter type of system that's going to cause coastal flooding. Uh, Hopefully this crap just gets suppressed and goes out. We don't need any more rain, all right? We really don't. I don't want any more, uh, especially for the folks in New England because they've been suffering so much with the flooding. It's just unbelievable. So let's go to the skies. I guess I'll start with the GFS first. So let's do that. So here are your skies, and you'll see here for tomorrow, you can see it's got a little area of high clouds. Thursday should be mostly sunny, but high clouds will invade from the south late in the afternoon. This is the GFS, and then you'll see we'll be stuck in the clouds Friday, but it won't be raining. We'll have the clouds, and then Saturday we're going to deal with the clouds, and then we're going to be sitting in that for a while until maybe Monday when the front comes through and clears us out. Let's go look at the, as far as Monday goes, you see we'll be back in the dry air, north winds. So let's go to the, let's back up here. Let's go to the back of the skies, and I'll use the RGEM model as we have. All right, so this is the RGEM model. All right, so here's the RGEM model, right? So tomorrow, it's showing those high clouds again to start, but then they kind of, by the afternoon, they kind of disappear. And then for Thursday, we should have mostly sunny skies. Maybe a little bit of cirrus over South Jersey, but mostly sunny skies. And then for Friday, that's when we'll start seeing that cirrus invade a little bit from the south, from this system down here again. So Friday, you'll start seeing the clouds increase probably from that system. Could be an interesting sky again because it is, like I said, somewhat tropical in nature. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm going to talk a little more about this system here while we can. So let's go to, we'll first do the Ventus sky. All right, now I'll just visualize this system for you. We go to wind gusts first of all. So we go to Thursday here. So here's your system down here. All right, we'll go to Friday. You can see some pretty strong winds could form from this. This definitely looks like a tropical system to me. All right, I'll move this back to 5 here. All right, and then we move this up to Saturday. This is the icon model. So this is the icon model showing the winds here, right, that we're looking at here. So you can see offshore, and especially coming to the Jersey Shore, 55-mile-an-hour winds, and then we combine that with storms, waves coming in. Particularly, this would hit the Jersey Shore hard with 12-foot waves, perhaps, coming into the Jersey Shore, and some of it coming into Long Island as well. All right, I could change this to the GFS too. Oh no, it doesn't let me change it to the GFS, I guess. But this is definitely something to be concerned about. That and the rain that we have to deal with this system. All right, so just be aware that we could have a very stormy weekend. Hopefully the European is right, because if we go and we look at the windy.com model here, so that's one time I'm going to root for the European, because here, by the way, is Nigel, by the way. This is Nigel right here, right? Go to wind gust, you can see. We can just visualize this, you can see. Still going to be, starts to weaken a little more, but still pretty powerful storm. You can see, and then it's as far as it goes is Sunday here. You can see, look at it, it kind of expands, and it, there could be effects on Iceland and stuff. But anyway, let's focus on the storm system that we have. Whoa, what's that there? So it looks like the European is developing something on Sunday here. Another storm system. Oh, that's the second storm system, yeah. That's the second one that would develop. All right. So it actually forms 2, which is kind of weird. This is what the European does. So, but as far as the impacts go for us, the European is a better solution because we don't get caught in the heavy rain. But we will still have to deal with the winds. Some wind gusts up to maybe 35 miles an hour. Some gale warnings for the coast. And also the, impacts as far as the beach goes with waves, especially Saturday night. You could see, again, we could see coastal flooding from that. So anyway, I think one more thing, and we'll wrap it up. We'll just go to the smoke model next. All right, here's the smoke model. Going into tomorrow, we're okay. You can see it looks like a bunch of smoke might try to make its way in. Let's see, this is Thursday. Nah, it's going to stay to the north of us. It's not going to affect... Well, it might come in later Thursday, perhaps. We may see a little bit of smoke later. I mean later Thursday. This is tomorrow. This is Thursday. And you can see it doesn't really enter the picture until, late in the afternoon. And we'll start seeing that cirrus come in, too. And it's really hard to predict where the smoke's going to go, obviously. But you can still see, we still have fires burning in Canada. It's unbelievable that I don't ever remember this going into September, but here we are. It's still going into, you know what? It's going to continue into October until they finally get their first snowfall, which may not happen until November. So this is going to still got a ways to go with this and watching the smoke as well as we deal with the planet in crisis. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a good night.